Have you ever said something like this? This would never work, or nothing good happens to me. This situation will never change. What if I told you that throughout history, some of the most tragic outcomes began with just a few careless words? Words spoken in doubt, words spoken in arrogance, words spoken in fear, and by the time people realized the power behind them, it was already too late. Hi everyone, my name is Remilekun Idowu and welcome back to my channel, a space where we explore real stories, real lessons and real wisdom about life, faith and emotional intelligence. To my returning family, thank you for always coming back. I am so grateful for you guys and I appreciate each and every one of you. And if this is your first time here, you're welcome. You're in the right place. And before we begin, please take a moment to like, subscribe, share this story, and drop a comment below. It helps this message to reach someone who might truly need it. And don't forget, there is a playlist of powerful stories waiting for you at the top of your screen after this video. Today's story is about something we all use every single day. Our words. Because words are not just sounds. Sometimes they become the prophecy we unknowingly write over our own lives. So let's dive in. The human mind listens to one voice more than any other voice. Your own. When you repeat something long enough, your mind begins to accept it as the truth. That truth then shapes your decision, and decisions shape your destiny. This is why ancient wisdom has always warned us about the power of speech. Even the Bible says in Matthew 12:37, "For by your words you will be justified, and by your words you will be condemned." History has shown us this lesson again and again. Let me show you what I mean. His name was Victor Adeyemi. Victor was the kind of man people noticed the moment he entered the room. Tall, confident, always well dressed. But what really stood out about Victor wasn't just his appearance. It was his mouth. Victor spoke quickly, loudly, and boldly. But unlike many people who spoke boldly, Victor was kind. He had a phrase he loved to say, which was, "I say things exactly as they are." But the truth was, Victor didn't just say things as they are. He said things as if he already knew the future. Victor grew up in a modest neighborhood. His parents worked hard, but money was always tight. As a young boy, Victor often felt embarrassed about their struggles. So he made a quiet promise to himself that one day he would become so successful that nobody could look down on him again. And when Victor eventually entered the financial world, his natural confidence helped him to rise quickly. Within a few years, he was managing investments for wealthy clients. People admired him, some even envied him. And Victor loved the attention. But the most surprising thing about Victor's life was not his career. It was his marriage. Victor married a woman named Elena. Elena came from a family where money was never a problem. Her father was a successful businessman. Her mother traveled constantly between cities and countries. But Elena had grown up surrounded by something else. Servants, house helps, maids, drivers, cooks. Our parents were rarely home, and so discipline was almost non-existent. If Elena shouted at a maid, then the maid was replaced. If Elena threw a tantrum, someone bought her a new gift just to calm her down. If Elena insulted somebody, nobody corrected her. So Elena grew up with a different mindset and believing something dangerous. And that was that our words had no consequences except it got her what she wanted. By the time she reached adulthood, her tongue had become sharper than a knife. She insulted domestic workers, bullied classmates, and when she married Victor, her words followed her into their home. I mean, into their marriage. Elena complained about everything. If Victor came home late because of traffic, she would snap and rain down curses on him. She would say words like, "For lying to me, one day it is that traffic that will kill you." If Victor asked her to be patient, maybe about money she asked for, she would shout, "You stingy man, if you don't give me that money I asked for, everything you have will soon go down the drain." If she had a headache, she would scream dramatically, "Yay, Victor, you are the one that will give me high blood pressure." At first, Victor laughed these things off and was trying to be as patient as possible. He believed she was simply just dramatic, so he often tried to please her. He bought her gifts, jewelry, designer bags, sent her on vacations, but nothing changed Elena's mouth. Her words were always negative, sharp, and reckless. Victor once decided to surprise Elena. Instead of buying another luxurious item, he bought something bigger. A small but well-established lifestyle boutique in an upscale part of the city. He thought it would give her purpose, keep her mind busy, and boost her confidence. He also thought it would give her a chance to build something of her own. The day he showed her the store, Victor stood proudly outside the entrance. "Surprise, Elena," he said with excitement. "This is yours." But instead of smiling, Elena folded her arms and looked around with skepticism. "This industry is already saturated," she said coldly. "Why would you just get me this without consulting me first?" Victor tried to explain that the business already has customers and it was doing well. Elena shook her head dismissively. "I don't think this will work." Victor felt a small sting inside his chest, but he wasn't surprised by her attitude, so he ignored it. Even though Elena took over the affair of the store, but from the very first day, she spoke negativity over that store. "This place is too small. These customers don't look serious. I don't think this is for me. This business cannot work." Employees noticed something strange. Instead of motivating her staff, Elena criticized them constantly. Instead of encouraging customers, she spoke dismissively. Slowly, customers stopped returning. The business was so bad and her attitude to her workers was so bad that the staff members resigned. Suppliers even lost interest, and the business Victor had carefully bought for her collapsed within a year. Victor quietly absorbed the loss, but Elena never admitted responsibility. She simply said, "I told you the industry was too saturated and it wouldn't work." One afternoon, Elena returned home in a terrible mood. A housemaid named Grace, a gentle young woman who had worked in their home for years, accidentally broke a glass while washing dishes. The sound shattered the silence of the house that Elena stormed into the kitchen. Her voice exploded. "Useless girl, you will destroy everything in this house." Grace was trembling. Victor also rushed to the scene and watched quietly from the hallway. Elena raised her hand to slap the maid, but before her hand could land, something strange happened. Elena froze. Her body stiffed. Her face twisted slightly. Then suddenly, she collapsed on the floor. Victor rushed forward in panic. "Elena, Elena!" But Elena could not respond. Her mouth, which had once spoken endlessly, suddenly refused to move. Doctors later confirmed the diagnosis. It was a stroke. Even though Elena survived, the damage changed her life. Her speech became slow and difficult. Her once powerful voice now struggled to form simple sentences. For the first time in her life, Elena experienced silence. Weeks passed, then months. As she slowly recovered, Elena spent long hours sitting quietly in their living room, watching, thinking, remembering every careless word she had spoken, every insult, every curse, every complaint. One evening, Victor sat beside her. The house was quiet. Elena looked at him with tears in her eyes. Her voice trembled as she spoke slowly. I spoke too much. Victor squeezed her hand gently. For the first time in their marriage, Elena realized something she had never considered before. Words are not harmless. They shape the atmosphere of a home. They shape the mindset of a person, and sometimes they echo back into our lives in ways we never expected. Elena's recovery was slow, but something else began to change inside her. She began speaking differently, more carefully, more thoughtfully, and sometimes she simply chose silence. Grace, the maid she once shouted at, became one of the people who helped care for her during recovery. One day, Elena apologized to her. Grace simply smiled, and in that quiet moment, Elena understood something she never learned as a child. Words can break people, but words can also heal. Stories like Victor's and Elena's remind us of something many people overlook about words. Words are not just sounds, they are seeds, and whatever we speak repeatedly eventually begins to grow around us. Elena's story reveals three powerful truths about the power of our words. 1. Words can shape the atmosphere around you. Elena spoke negativity into everything. Into her home, into her marriage, into the business Victor gave her, and slowly everything around her began to reflect the tone of her words. A peaceful home became tense. A promising business collapsed. Relationship became strained. Because words don't only describe reality, they influence it. 2. Words can destroy opportunities before they even begin. When Victor showed Elena the boutique he had bought for her, she did not see possibility. She saw failure. She said, "The industry is too saturated. I don't think it will work." And before the business even had a chance to grow, our mindset had already buried it. Sometimes the greatest opportunities in life are not destroyed by circumstances. They are destroyed by the words we speak about them. 3. Words can eventually return to the person who speaks them. Elena constantly spoke sickness, high blood pressure, death, misfortune. At the time, it sounded like careless exaggeration. But one day, her body suddenly collapsed under the weight of a stroke. And the woman who once spoke endlessly suddenly struggled to form a simple sentence. For the first time, Elena experienced something she had never known before. Silence. And in that silence, she realized something painful. Words are never truly harmless. They travel, they settle, and sometimes they circle back to the one who released them. Words are not just communication, they are direction. They shape how we think, they shape how we see opportunities, they shape the atmosphere around our lives, and sometimes they shape the future we eventually walk into. So the real question becomes, what kind of future are your words creating today? So as you step into this weekend, be mindful of the words you speak, not just to others, but to yourself, because the voice you hear most often is your own. If the story spoke to you today, please take a moment to like this video, subscribe to this channel, share this story with someone, and drop a comment below. My name is Remilekun Idowu. Stay grounded, stay thoughtful, and always stay wise.